Hello, you're listening to ReedyGeeks, a Walt Disney World podcast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined today by the romantic bowler, Sean.
That's a good one.
And the hot air balloon operator, JJ.
Anything to get that aerial view.
Things could go awry quickly.
It's on a string, right? It's self-contained. It doesn't fly away.
In today's episode, we conclude our Spotlight series and dive into the Disney history of one of our co-hosts, Sean. All right. So, over the past few months, we've been peeling back the curtain here on ReedyGeeks, not just on Disney World, but on ourselves as well. You've already heard stories behind Andrew and JJ, and today we're wrapping up our co-host Spotlight series with a final piece to the puzzle. Sean.
The best for last.
From his first Yes, we saved the best for last. From his first memories in the park to the opinions that make him unmistakably Sean. We're diving into what makes him tick as a Disney fan, a co-host, and a card-carrying member of Team Filler Magic. Let's get into it.
I still have my card laminated.
Never expires.
Well, that's progress for you.
Okay, so we're going to start our Spotlight series the way that we started all the other two Spotlight series with a quick Lightning McQueen round. Fast answers, Sean. That's what we're looking for.
How fast?
Very fast.
No thinking?
No thinking.
No thinking.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Favorite park?
Epcot.
Favorite ride?
Rise of the Resistance.
Favorite show?
Phil Har Magic.
Favorite resort?
Oh, Port Orleans French Quarter.
Transportation?
Monorail.
Sit-down restaurant?
Le Cellier.
Quick service restaurant?
Oh, Brats in Germany.
Snack?
Does a Ronto wrap count as a snack?
Sure.
It does.
I have
Definitely.
Ronto wrap.
Bar?
Dragon Road.
Drink?
Moscow Mule. No, Moroccan Mule.
Moroccan Mule. Okay, there we go. I love it. Those were great answers.
Those are definitely heavily geek opinion.
If you've listened to an episode of this, none of these are surprises.
Yeah.
And I haven't, so maybe they're surprises.
That might be a good question to start on, actually, Sean, is that we often joke that you never watch or you never listen to the podcast. Is that true?
That is true. I have not, aside from the bloopers episode, I have not listened to a single episode. And that's not because I don't like you guys. I just, there's actors and actresses that don't watch their own work. When JJ and I were in a band together, I didn't listen to our music. I only listened to it when we were recording and JJ would ask for notes. I had to feel like I was contributing something. So I would listen to the mixes, but when it was final and out there, I never listened to it. And there would be times when like people would put it on and I would just be like, no, come on, skip. But it's not because I don't like it or I'm ashamed of it or embarrassed of it. I don't know. It's for me to make and not to listen to. So,
Okay.
So hopefully people enjoy it.
I understand that, being someone that's put out a lot of creative things into the world, whether it's this podcast or making music or helping people make music. There's definitely a lot of this like feeling unsure, even when you know that it's, good or that people are liking it. There's definitely a weird level, and like if you enjoy it, you don't want to like, I don't know, come off a certain way, like you're full of yourself or something.
Sure. I enjoy making it. I enjoy what we do, and that's probably where it ends.
Can you at least subscribe? Can we just ask to subscribe?
How would I actually think I do subscribe? I think I do actually subscribe. I am an active subscriber of the ReedyGeeks podcast.
Okay. All right.
I have a lot of undownloaded episodes. 50 to be exact. But yes, I am a subscriber.
Okay, so let's talk about your history with Disney World. And we'll start at the beginning. When was your first trip? to Disney World?
My first trip was, and I probably could have done a better job at getting the exact dates because I'm sure they'd remember. My parents brought, I believe this was I want to say this was 95 or 96. My dad's parents had I don't know if it was a summer house or if they just owned a home in Jupiter. And we went down to Florida to spend like 2 weeks with them at their summer house. And my parents during that trip decided to surprise my sister and I with a trip to Disney World. So sometime during that trip, I don't know if it was the beginning or the end, but sometime during that trip, they said we're going to go to Disney World, and we drove from Jupiter to Orlando. It wasn't a very long drive, and we drove up, did we stayed over for a night, and then did the Magic Kingdom all day, and then drove back to my grandparents' house. But my first memory of being in Disney World, I don't really remember. I remember more of the actual trip to see my grandparents' house than I have memory of being in Disney World at that time. But I do know for sure that we went to the Magic Kingdom. And I remember mostly this attitude of mine would continue for a very long time, just not like super being into it. I wasn't like really a fan of it. I was excited to go to a theme park, but in terms of it had really nothing to do with it being Disney. I wasn't like excited to go to Disney. It was just an exciting thing to do as a kid.
I've definitely gone through phases of that, of being like, I like Disney for it being a theme park and not the themes that they chose, or like necessarily like Mickey. You get to an age and you're like, Mickey's for little kids, right?
Yeah.
You turn into Breck Eisner.
Yes, definitely. There's a little bit of a I'm too good for this, or too cool for this, or this is not for me.
Right. It's corny. It's whatever. This is for little kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously that's kind of changed. Was there like a specific moment where you're like, oh, wait, like I like this, and I like Disney specifically, not just theme parks, not just a ride?
Yeah, I mean, like I couldn't kind of avoid Disney through my childhood. Just a couple years after that, we did a big trip with my parents and my mom's parents, and that's actually where I found my love for Port Orleans, because we stayed at the French Quarter. And we went in the pool with the big serpent tongue slide and King Triton and whatever the Port Orleans, New Orleans Mardi Gras theme. So that was like maybe like 97 or 98. But even still, I was excited to be there, but not necessarily like the whole appeal of the Magic Kingdom, I thought was more like princesses, my sister being young. It was more for her. I remember really liking MGM, because that's what it was then. Animal Kingdom wasn't even a thing, I don't believe, when we were there, but I remember liking MGM because I loved Star Wars. And I always loved the backlot tour. I missed that as part of the Hollywood Studios, MGM Studios experience, but I hated Epcot, man. I couldn't stand Epcot because it was so boring. The only thing in Epcot I liked was Innoventions, because it had like VR and kind of video game kind of stuff. But my parents were like, "We're playing video games on vacation. We're not staying in here." So, they dragged us out of there, and Epcot was so boring to me, because the reason I didn't like it then was the reason I love it now. It's because the only thing to do there is eat and drink.
Yeah.
So even as a kid, I didn't really love the idea of Disney, and our senior trip in high school was to Disney, and I wasn't going to go. I didn't want to go. And I guess, I don't know if he's honorary geek, but he's been on the podcast before. Our friend Derek was kind of, hey, you got to go. You got to go on the trip. And I was like, I don't really want to go, because Derek and I went to high school together. My parents were like, why not go to Disney World? We're going to pay for it. I was like, because I don't want to go to Disney World again. And so, eventually I went, and it was fine. It was fun being with your friends. But then, I mean, we all took our big trip in 2010. And even then, when that idea came up, I thought, God, I can't get away from this place. Why? Every couple of years, this place keeps coming up in ideas. But no, that trip was, and we've talked about this, that trip was
that's the moment.
Was the one, because it was just, you didn't have parents, you didn't have to be told what to do. The planning was fun. The place we stayed was great.
You were of legal drinking age.
Yeah, being a 21-year-old legal drinking age adult in Disney World definitely added a new level of excitement to it. But that trip was the trip, and it was just like such a stark 180 on my feelings of Disney World, because I mean, since 2010, when that trip was, I've probably gone to Disney World 10 or 15 times.
Right.
In the 10 or 15 years since that trip. So yeah, that was the trip that really turned it around.
Wow.
And got me hooked.
Yeah. It's amazing what going when it's both not crowded at all and not hot out.
Yeah.
Well, I think that also contributed to it. It was
sure,
cold.
We went in January and we were in sweatshirts.
There are pictures of people, I was wearing long sleeves and
we're bundled up.
Yeah, we certainly were not in the water.
No. I don't even think we did. I don't even think we did any of the pools. We
stayed in that Grand Villa. I literally couldn't tell you where the pool is at Old Key West.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's next to the bar, but
yeah, there's a pool. There's a pool somewhere over by the gurgling suitcase. There's a pool somewhere over there.
That's a nice pool too.
Rest in peace, the sultry seahorse. One of the
gurgling suitcase. Yeah,
the first
first ever legal
favorite
drink I had in Disney World.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure it's called something else now. You had it when we were there. When we went to Sebastian's on Andrew's bachelor trip.
Oh yes, there was.
It's the same drink, but it's called something else.
There was a drink at Banana Cabana that was basically the sultry seahorse. Yeah.
Yeah. So
are you sure that the drink is gone from Old Key West?
It's not on their menu.
Right. So it might be just the same drink, a different name. But if you see a drink that has amaretto and banana liqueur and some kind of rum, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah, it's cherry brandy too.
Cherry brandy. Yeah.
It's a lot of sweet stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very sweet drink, but it'll get you there. It's good.
It sure will.
It's
whether there is drunk or a stomachache, it'll get you there.
Why not both?
All right. So, Sean, what are some hidden gems, lesser known experiences or attractions that you think deserve more attention?
Well, I think maybe one of the pitfalls of being the last one to go on this is that I've probably talked about most of these. I think doing tours is a hidden. It's not really a hidden gem because it's well advertised, but I feel like they're not necessarily things people think to do when you want to think of lesser known attractions or activities. I love to golf. Playing golf is a ton of fun in Disney. I actually just made a reservation the other day for when I go in September. I'll be doing that again.
I think the Magnolia might be open.
The Magnolia is open. I didn't book there because it didn't. I'm going to be going as a single golfer, so I don't think they allow. That's the biggest, most popular course. So I don't know if they take single reservations, but maybe when it gets closer to. I'm currently booked at the Lake Buena Vista course, which is right at Saratoga Springs, which is where we're going to be staying.
Perfect.
Nice.
I think resort hopping, spending a day outside the parks. I think there's a lot to be found outside the parks that's just as fun as what you can do in the parks.
Yeah, I totally agree. Do you have a magic moment, like a magical moment that you can think of that happened during one of your visits?
I wouldn't necessarily say I've had myself a magic moment. I think in terms of memorable experiences, I think the two trips we did for both of your bachelor trips were, if nothing else, very very memorable.
And very not memorable.
I have been. I think it's always fun when you are with someone who has never been before, or someone who hasn't seen something, and seeing because I've on a couple different trips I've been on, I've been able to see people's reactions to things that they haven't experienced yet, and that's always fun. So I in terms of magic moments or memorable things, it's mostly just things that have happened with the friends that we've gone there on.
It's just been between the people that you're with,
Right?
not,
Yeah.
and not
Nothing
necessarily-
specifically has happened to me.
Well, actually, I do know a magic moment that happened to you during one of those bachelor parties. No, nothing like that. During Andrew's bachelor party, we talked our way into early entry.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I mean, all credit goes to honorary geek Michael for, putting on the. I don't know if he was putting on the charm or if he wasn't taking over.
I think he just said it's my future brother-in-law's bachelor party. And
he and I are DVC,
and we both own
nothing.
DVC. So if you could do this would be amazing. And they said yes.
That's true. We did. And that allowed us to just walk right on to Rise of the Resistance, which is probably a day changer. We didn't have to
such a day changer.
We didn't have to wait for that. That kind of got the big thing out of the way within the first 20 minutes of being in the park. So that's a good one. Yeah, definitely a nice little magical convenience for us there.
Yeah. Yeah, he can talk his way out of or into anything. Michael, honorary geek Michael. I think too that he didn't quite lead on that it was 9 guys. That she was letting
he did reveal it at the end. He's like,
at the end, he's like, okay, it's me.
By the way,
how many are you?
Like all those guys.
He goes, 11, and she goes,
yeah,
and she goes, okay.
Be sure you take good care of our friends.
Gosh, they're with me. What could possibly go wrong?
All right, Sean. So, what ride has grown on you over the years, and what ride do you think has aged poorly for you?
A ride that's grown on me over the years is and maybe no pun intended, is Living with the Land. It definitely something that in the past I probably thought was so dorky and nerdy and like, why would I ever want to do this? And then very quickly became like, I don't think I can go to Epcot without going on that ride. And a ride that has aged poorly. I mean, there's rides that have physically, and you can see them, they've aged poorly. We've talked about Buzz Lightyear in Magic Kingdom, just like, how is that still at some points you're like, how is it still a functioning ride? But for me, it's just Space Mountain is just we've gone at length a ride. I don't know if I ever have to do it again. I probably will. I know I will. But a ride that I never am excited to ride it. I never come off it feeling like, oh man, you know what? No, I was wrong. That ride is great. Now it's a ride that just feels its age. It's an old roller coaster, and again, I don't need to waste.
And you used to
like
it, right?
Yeah, no, I used to love it because it was, I don't often get on roller coasters, mostly because I'm not going to amusement parks too often, so it was always, and it just felt it's Disney, it's Space Mountain. But after going on it so many times, it just became, this is actually not really that great.
It hurts my back.
I'm terrified of getting decapitated on it. I ride it.
Yeah,
like I'm ducking in my seat because I'm 6'2" and I don't want to get
people were smaller
head
back
lopped
then.
off.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your favorite character to meet in the parks?
I'm not a character person.
Okay.
I don't know that I would go out of my way to meet a character, but I do love what they do in Galaxy's Edge. I do love like the interaction that like the stormtroopers have with the guests, and when Kylo Ren comes around. I love when there's good cast member or performer interaction with the guests. I think that's fun rather than just
standing in line
standing in line to get a picture. But the Star Wars characters I think are great, and they stick so well to the story.
The timeline.
They're exactly, yeah. They stick to their script pretty well. But every now and then you see, like, I watched a video just the other day of, like, there was a whole line of stormtroopers and, like, a little girl, like, runs up and, like, hugs one of them, and they kind of put on this, like, you know, they look at each other and they shrug, like, what are we supposed to do? And they do a really good job of kind of like keeping it funny, but not really breaking character, but still kind of keeping it, you know, entertaining. But yeah, I think that's probably you're not going to find me online waiting to meet, you know, Mickey or Goofy or anybody, probably. You know, maybe that changes when I go with my niece and nephew and later this year, but if I'm going solo by myself or with someone else that's my age or around it, I'm probably not standing in line to meet characters, but it's just fun still to see them out and around.
I'll tell you what, Cool Kid Summer is doing a really good job of having more characters like walking around and about the premises and not just like in a specific meet and greet location. I rope dropped Ratatouille, and Sleeping Beauty was like walking with guests and talking to them and stuff. It's really nice to see in the park, even if you don't specifically interact with them. It's just nice. It just really gives the park a different kind of life, and I love that they're doing it. And I hope that it's not just a Cool Kid Summer and it becomes more of the norm of like Disney, just another layer of magic that they offer.
Yeah, it's a shame, you know, because Disneyland offers that
all
and
the time.
have that all the time. And the whole idea was that, oh, you can't put that in Disney World because these characters will get swarmed. But maybe if it's more of if it's happening more often, then people won't swarm them.
When it's less rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that with, you know, you lost character meet and greets entirely during COVID. And I think maybe they're just trying to figure out a new way to bring that back to the parks. And trying to maybe workshop different ideas of how can we get the people as close as possible to the characters, you know, without necessarily having them just be waiting online, or I don't know. Because I do remember when this was obviously before COVID, when Anna and Elsa they first came to Epcot, I believe, in Norway. But I mean, when they moved to the Magic Kingdom in that princess spot right outside the carousel, I think it's a 3-hour wait to meet Anna and Elsa. So I think that there's definitely a desire, especially like for the princesses, for characters, but figuring out the best way to have them be around. If Anna and Elsa were walking around the park, they wouldn't make it. They wouldn't make it 10 feet.
Yeah, they have to be
jumped.
strategic about that, where they know people aren't going to get swarmed.
All right. So, what's your number one tip that you would give people?
A tip.
Yeah.
Tip for Disney World, for going to Disney World. One, I don't know if this is a tip or just something that I prefer to do. Whenever as often as possible, if I can number one, afford it, or make it work in my schedule, is whenever I go to Disney World, I always want to arrive in Disney World the day or night before I want to start my trip. I don't like flying in the day I want to start. If you can afford, because usually the price and the flight difference isn't, if it's anything, it's not super crazy to switch to a night before flight as opposed to a morning of the next day. But if you can swing another night in the hotel, you know, I'd always prefer to get there so you can start your trip, you know, refreshed.
Or even if it's like an airport hotel, or
just be
property.
in Orlando or something, you know, the night before you want to start your trip. I always tell people not to get the dining plan. A lot of people would have asked me, like, when they're planning trips with their families, with their kids, don't get the dining plan. I don't think it's worth it. I legitimately, mathematically do not think it's worth it.
You have to be so aware of that dining plan and have like eaters in your family and understand the system. It's so much work to break even.
Yeah.
Right. Just to break even,
right, exactly. you gotta know the system just to break even. You can get ahead.
I don't know how much do you have to eat to feel like you've come out ahead. That's insane.
You can. There are certain ways to focus on it, like the the snack credit can be used at Starbucks, so you can get a
Right, that's
really
true,
expensive Starbucks drink, and it's just like snack.
Yeah.
I
And I
always think a
guess
better way is just to bring a gift card. Go to Target, get
Yeah,
a
that's
Target
true.
credit card, then go to Target, buy Disney gift cards at 5% off.
Because you're
and
normally
then-
you're getting $80 for $100. You're spending $80 to get $100 or something like that. You know, you're
well, the Target would be 95 for 100.
Yeah.
But it's still,
Okay.
Every once in a
it's-
while, you will see once or twice a year places like Costco will
BJ's,
run
yeah,
a
they'll give
true
you
10% off, and
Yeah.
that's the time to really,
Yeah.
that's the time to really move. Where you can
Yeah,
you can buy like
I
a
think
$200 gift card for 180 or
100
160.
exactly. Yeah, I think maybe the thing that, again, it's I don't know how much of a tip it is, but if you're going to Disney World, plan your trip less caring about every penny. Not necessarily trying to plan a trip where you're just saving every dollar as you possibly can, and instead just do things that are going to maximize the money you're spending.
Mhm.
So you're getting the best. It's just do things to ensure whether it's whether it's park hopper or not park hopper, whether it's an extra night at the hotel to make your extra day in the park worth it. Do things that make the trip more. You're getting more value for what you're spending, rather than going into a trip being like, I have $500 and I can't spend more than this.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like you're gonna spend your entire time nickeling and diming everything.
I agree. It's important to spend where you personally feel there's value. Some people are going to value having a sit down dinner every night, and that might be where someone might want to spend their money. And another person is like, I'm going to sleep in every day because I'm on vacation. So all these rope drop things, I can't do it. I won't feel like I'm on vacation if I'm rope dropping. So I'm going to buy the lightning lanes. You just prioritize accordingly to what fits your desired vacation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's no by the book Disney trip. Every part of every trip is at this point tailored to the people that are a part of the trip.
Yeah. So what is something about your park behaviors or opinions? I know you kind of mentioned living with the land already and Epcot changing. But is there something else that's maybe changed over the years as far as your opinions with Disney World?
I guess that I'm usually a big planner when I do things. Even something a small, like a mundane, like a day trip. I want to know what the train times are, what my options for the train times are in case I need to. I like to know the details. I like to plan. I like to make sure that I have dare I say an itinerary or a schedule. But I for some reason, being in Disney, I don't like to do that. I don't like the amount of planning that you have to do, the amount of like required time spent. And again, we've talked about this, but the amount of like required time spent in the MDE app. I very much used to love booking all the fast passes and booking all the dining things, but maybe it's because less of that is like far in advance, where it's almost like you're doing it to look forward to your trip. More than anything else. But now everything is kind of like, aside from your, I guess, what dining reservations are 60 days now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But everything else is just on demand. Your lightning lanes are on demand, or 7 days out, or buying a virtual queue is on demand in the park. Like everything is kind of more required and tailored to, you got to be nose in the phone in the app. So that's, I guess, a behavior of mine in the past, loving planning. Has maybe changed in that I would actually probably more prefer some sort of like, and you don't need to do the lightning lanes, or you can wait on the line for every ride you want to go on. But I guess I would prefer a more hybrid approach to the madness now that is lightning lanes and the My Disney Experience app.
All right. So where do you go to get your park fix when you're not in the parks?
Like to feel like I'm at Disney.
Yeah. So like, there are people on YouTube that I like to watch, or like maybe a
Ron,
certain
maybe.
TikTok account
Just gonna
or
say,
whatever.
all I have to do is go to Andrew and Emily's, and Ron will be on the TV, or they'll have some sort of magic candle burning, and I'll recognize the smell. But no, I love kind of browsing the different content creators that pop up on my Instagram feed. People that are making content in the parks, and um, doing specials for festivals and new rides and attractions. And I don't really do YouTube too often, but every now and then, I'll pop on like an episode of like a Defunct Land and something that has to do with Disney, or maybe I'll end up going down a rabbit hole of just watching ride through videos of things like Pirates or Rise of the Resistance, or Haunted Mansion, the big rides. But fortunately, there's plenty of places to go to get a fix.
Yeah.
Where maybe even 10 or 15 years ago that might not have been
Didn't exist.
so popular. Yeah, but YouTube and Instagram are probably the two that I think it's I can just open the app and go to like my For You page, and there'll be 10 or 15 Disney things right there.
For Disneyland's 70th, they're doing official POVs for a lot of the rides.
Like Disney officially made?
They're going to be on Disney Plus. They're going to be like produced.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I do remember
I don't know.
did.
What do you mean you don't know?
I have such a bad experience
Yep.
from. I was so excited about the Tiana ride through, and it sucked. It was so badly done. There was like no angles. It was almost like you were watching someone in the front row holding up their iPhone and just riding
No,
through.
it was. I actually thought that's better. Someone holding up their iPhone.
You thought it was. You thought they focused too much on not the ride.
It was too produced, right? And it's the same thing with their version of Happily Ever After. I'd rather find
that too was incredibly disappointing. Yeah.
The guy just sets up a tripod and it stays still. They're zooming in and zooming out.
They got drones flying around. They do too much. Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Their Harmonious show, though.
Oh, well, that was a special.
That was so good.
That was so good. Harmonious in general.
Justice for Harmonious. Enough time has passed.
Yeah.
So, Sean, are you a park hopper?
I'm not a park hopper, and maybe that's another tip that I'm. We used to do park hopping, like when I would buy vacation packages through Disney, I would always just pick the park hopper because it just made the money we were spending. It always just made sense. Just add the park hopper because it's at this point it feels like it's just a couple extra bucks, even though it's not. But I'm a big fan of doing everything you can do in a park in the day. And if you don't go back to that park, you don't go back to that park, but not necessarily worrying about, having to leave a certain park at 1:00 to make sure you get to the other park to get your rides in, or make sure you're, maximizing your time or your value. I don't love park hopping. I'm sure there are people that disagree and think it's the best strategy, because you can go on a 2 or 3 day trip and do everything. But I am so much more preferable and inclined to just base tickets and plan my day around being in one specific park.
Yeah.
I agree. I tend to, especially on a long vacation, prefer to not park hop. But
right.
That being said, I would park hop if it was like a short trip.
Sure, like if you're there Friday through Sunday, you're there 2 nights, and you want to try to get to 3 parks or 4 parks, and you're like, forget it. It's $100 to add park hopper to my 2-day ticket. Whatever, I'll do it.
All right. So let's say you've been hired by Bob to fix the parks. All right. What are you going to do on day one?
How much longer is Bob in power here?
Oh,
well, he hires you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's happening soon. He's starting the transition process.
Yeah.
The first thing I would do is probably bring back some sort of the paper fast pass system. I would bring back some sort of on demand. You got to be there to get it. I would bring back some sort of the old school system where you walk past the ride and you see there's fast pass available and you grab one.
I do like the Darwinism of that. Of like, you're in the park, you're here, you get dibs on
Right.
on it. I like that a lot.
Now you're talking. That's the best idea you've had all day.
Okay, ride revival. If you could bring back any ride, we've talked about a few of these. You mentioned some that I didn't even know you were into. You mentioned the movie lot tour and things like that. So ride revival. If you could bring back any ride that's no longer at Walt Disney World, which one is it?
And only one.
Only one.
Do I get to
Only
bring
one.
it back and get rid of the ride that replaced it?
Well,
Yeah.
in theory it would. Well, right, in theory it would.
Right. I'm bringing back Maelstrom. I'm bringing back. I'm restoring Norway to its former glory.
Sorry, Gad.
I miss Maelstrom and the corniness and borderline terribleness of that ride.
Can
I
we
miss it
Can we
every
keep
day.
Olaf in it though?
I can find a place to put him, but yeah,
We keep the Olaf animatronic where he's ice skating, but then everything else is different.
everything else is
Back to the way
trolls
it was.
back over the falls.
Oil rigs.
Justice for Maelstrom.
Back
Exactly.
over the falls.
Yeah, the
I think we
oil
have
rig,
that as
exactly.
a drop too.
I do have that as a drop somewhere.
All right. So, what Walt Disney World experience did you miss out on that you wish you could have had done?
I think when Andrew did this, his answer was the Star Wars weekends at Hollywood Studios, and I think that I would probably say something along the lines of that when Star Wars was new again into Disney, and there was so much more, I think, temporary Star Wars stuff in the parks just to get people kind of excited about it again. The Star Wars weekends. For sure. I mean, there's things that I don't think I've missed out on anything that I wish I could have done. Like the festivals come back around every year. The holiday seasons come back around every year.
What about Pleasure Island?
Yeah, that's what
Or-
I'm thinking about right now too.
Well, I guess I missed out on that because I wasn't
21.
alive or going to Disney. But I mean, yeah, at the same time, I mean, if you're just talking about, obviously Pleasure Island, the Explorers Club, and all that. The Adventurers Club. Is it Adventurers or Explorers?
Adventures.
The Adventurers Club. Like, that's mostly just drinking in downtown Disney, and we do plenty of that. So,
That's-
I don't necessarily feel like I missed. I don't feel like I missed out on it because I was never around really for it. So it's hard for me to say to consider it something I missed out on. But if that counts, I would say for sure I would have loved to know what that was like. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite spot in the parks at all? Like something that's a little bit tucked away, or something that place you like to maybe people watch or something like that? Or
So yes, kind of weirdly, a place that I always find myself sitting and just kind of hanging out for a little while is at in Epcot, right at the African Outpost. There's this tables there with the umbrellas. I always tend to just grab a drink at the Outpost and just sit at one of those tables. And it's usually right around the time of the day where I kind of want to sit down for a little bit, because it's probably 2 or 3 o'clock and I've already been drinking for 3 hours, and maybe you want to get off your feet and just kind of people watch a little bit. But yeah, right in that kind of corner, right before you get into Germany, is that that little kind of section there where it's never really super crowded, but it's just kind of a good spot to just grab a seat and just hang.
yeah, I like that.
That's pretty cool. All right. What's your favorite seasonal event?
I guess festivals count as this
Yeah.
as well. I mean, I want to say food and wine, but I feel like I don't take, whenever I'm there, I don't take enough advantage of, like, I don't, I always go to, like, what my go-tos, like, I go to the same places, I get the same drinks, I get the same, like, I don't really explore too much of the offerings that are different from when you're normally there. So I'd probably say that my favorite seasonal event is, I love Disney at Christmas time. It's probably the time of the year that I've gone the most. So I'm just very kind of used to seeing the Magic Kingdom done up for Christmas and the resorts done up for Christmas. And so I would say that seasonally, Christmas is probably my favorite time at Disney World.
Oh, nice. Can I interest you in Flower and Garden Festival? That's
Flower and Garden Festival is great, but I equate it to food and wine in that, like,
it's a lot of booths that you're not going to.
It's just a lot of booths, and like I feel like obviously the focus of Flower and Garden are the topiaries. And,
I love the topiaries,
the gardens, but I kind of feel like eventually you're just eating and drinking the way you were.
Oh
at food and wine.
90% of the stuff I do is unaffected by the booths.
Right.
Okay. What is the most unique experience you've had at Disney World that you think other people should try?
I mean, this kind of piggybacks earlier. I think doing a tour is good. I did the Keys to the Kingdom tour, and I absolutely loved it. It's a very cool experience if you love parks and, kind of geeky park trivia and Disney trivia and history trivia, and getting to kind of, we say peel back the curtain. You get a lot of behind the scenes access and stories, and you really get to see, I think specifically they give you a lot of detail on how Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion specifically work. You just get that good, really cool behind the scenes, like things that people don't normally get to see and hear about. And then of course they bring you underground, and you get to go into what they call the utilidors. That's the official
right, utilidors.
That's the official term. And it's really cool down there. It's really cool seeing this very alive and active world below the Magic Kingdom. Something else that you can do for free, as long as you're still in the park or you have a park ticket, is I've a couple times on trips, I've loved going around the World Showcase at night. After the fireworks, as the park's closing, instead of heading for the buses, head back into the World Showcase and do another lap, because at night when it's less crowded, things are more lit up. There's more music playing in the countries, and you can kind of feel each country a little bit more than during the day. I think that's a really cool, I guess, unique experience, because you might be seeing or hearing something that you didn't when it was crazy and busy during the day.
Yeah, I know people that like to get the very last reservation in a park, so that you're like kind of the last one in it.
And a lot of the restaurants in Epcot around the lagoon will do late reservations, specifically because people like to make the late reservations to see the fireworks. So, you could be walking around the World Showcase at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and people are still getting out of dinner. So a lot of the places stay open for that. So you can still, the rides are probably not open anymore, but you can still probably grab a snack, or you can grab a drink, at some places that are still open, and have a much quieter time in the World Showcase, which I think is fun, because that's my favorite place at Disney World.
Yeah.
And adversely, you could do the opposite and get a reservation before the park opens, and that's a kind of a unique
thing, for sure. You can get they do the character breakfast, and I know specifically in Norway.
All right, how about a random memory? Like, why do I remember this?
I forget what year it was. I saw John Neese, who was a pitcher for the Mets, walking through the Magic Kingdom with his family, just like a regular normal person with a stroller, walking with his family, and I did like a triple take.
Okay, so let's say you won the lottery and money is no longer an issue, but you're doing the trip of trips to celebrate. What does this trip look like?
Winning the have I won like you won the big lottery. This is the big one.
This is this is like literally money is
when
not,
the Powerball gets up to like 1.7 billion.
This is like hundreds of millions of dollars. Like you're not working. The interest in your savings account is like gonna pay for your kids.
Well, the trip would probably start in the real estate office at Golden Oak, because I would be purchasing whatever was immediately available for me to move into, and then would probably rent out one of those Polynesian cabanas, the what are you
bungalows?
The little bungalows, yeah. Probably rent out one, maybe more than one, maybe a couple of those, and then have a bunch of people down staying at the Polynesian. And I don't know, after the luxury accommodations like that, it would probably just turn into a trip I would normally take. We would still drink around the world. We would still go to. It doesn't matter how much money I have in the bank. I'm still going to Raglan Road. I'm still gonna get fried chicken at Homecoming. I might eat more nice luxurious dinners than I normally would. But aside from where I would stay, it would probably be a very basic feeling trip for me, because it wouldn't change really what I would do or the places I would go.
Yeah. Okay, so again, money is not an issue. What DVC resort are you going to buy?
I have always, well, if money is no issue, I'm probably buying into the new Polynesian Tower.
Yep.
However many points I can get with my, $1.8 billion lottery winnings. But I've loved and my sister, we're going in September, and we're staying at Saratoga Springs because she bought or rented someone else's points. She had said that there was an option that to potentially stay at the Bay Lake Tower, and I always have loved the Bay Lake Tower. I've always wanted to stay there, right next to the Contemporary. I thought like a theme park view with the big the floor to ceiling window, like a two-story villa or whatever in the Bay Lake Tower would be like my unattainable, this I'll never be able to afford this or get this goal. But I mean, if it was given to me, if a contract was put in front of me right now, I would sign at the new Polynesian Tower for sure.
It was very hard to say no.
But it's for the best that you did.
Yeah. For my future house. Yeah.
Well, I think that's all the questions we have.
I think you survived.
That's all you need me for?
Yeah, unless the listeners have a question, maybe we can come back to this. Do you have a question for Sean? Let us know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Revisiting the spotlights with user questions. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Leave a comment in the post on Instagram. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
The spotlight is now off of Sean. The
spotlight is off of the three of us.
Yeah, we're not doing spotlights on the hosts anymore. We can go back to spotlighting things like rides and restaurants and stuff, like we've also been doing in between.
Like we've been doing ad nauseum here at ReedyGeeks.
Yeah, restaurants. It's been a restaurant and bar heavy year, huh?
The theme.
That's what we like to do.
This season's theme was drinking.
Just this season, though.
Is that why I have to go to the gym a little more than? Is that why I feel the way that I do?
Next season will be all about health. We're gonna be talking about the bracket will be the best places to work out.
Best places to work out.
The best resort gyms. That's the new bracket.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in doing that field research. I don't think I've ever seen a gym. Well, I've probably never stayed at a hotel that had one.
That might be true.
Pop Century, I don't think has a gym.
Old Key West does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would assume like the big deluxe resorts and the DVC resorts have fitness centers.
I wouldn't be surprised if they all do. but they're just kind of
somewhere there's just a treadmill in the corner.
Funny enough, Polynesian didn't have a gym until the Island Tower. You were allowed to use the Grand Floridian's gym, but Polynesian did not have its own gym.
They're also, and maybe this is, I don't know if people have more experience with this. I've heard that Disney is not super supportive of, like, if you were to just bring your running shoes and just go for a run around Disney, they don't really like people running on the roads.
Not on the roads.
The buses and the cars drive.
But there are
running trails. Yeah.
At almost every resort.
Yeah. Even the All Stars, you can run between all. There's a loop that goes through all three resorts.
When I went to when I golfed at the Palm and the Magnolia are in the same property at Shades of Green. I tried to walk from the Polynesian right across because it's right there. I tried to walk from the Polynesian over to Shades of Green, and I was stopped at the gate, and I was told that I can't. I'm technically not allowed to walk onto the resort property. There's no pedestrian walkway, so they can't lift the gate for someone who's walking. So I had to walk back to the Polynesian and get
There used to be.
Did there used to be? Maybe, yeah.
Before the Island Tower construction.
And there's a lot of construction. That might be why the pedestrian walkway was not available. But I had to walk back to the Polynesian and then ask them if they could get me a shuttle to the golf course, which they did for, I don't know if they charged people for it, but they did it to me for free. I didn't have to pay anything for it. But
otherwise, what do you have to go to Magic Kingdom and then get the bus?
Get a bus,
to Shades of Green. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Or like get an Uber.
Get an Uber to Shades of Green.
It's coming back though. They're doing construction over there. They're widening that road, and they're gonna have the pedestrian walkway back.
Okay,
you heard it here first.
That's
good. Yeah. All right. So Sean usually takes us out. Do you still want to take us out, or this is your episode? I think you can, if you want to sit back and relax. You're more than welcome to do that.
No, I feel like why mess with a good thing?
Okay. All right, Sean, want to take us out?
Thanks for listening to another episode of the ReedyGeeks podcast. Like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Any questions, comments, concerns, titles, future topic ideas, email us at reedygeeks@gmail.com. And check us out on all our socials at ReedyGeeks. We'll see you next time.
2 words. I am retired.
This week's Honest Send-Off comes courtesy of Phil from Athens. If you have an honest send-off that you want played at the end of one of our episodes, please submit an audio clip to us via our email address, reedygeeks@gmail.com. ReedyGeeks, a Walt Disney World podcast, is hosted and executive produced by Andrew Shopey, Sean Murphy, and JJ Hefner. Music and audio engineering by JJ Hefner.
Bon voyage.